There's a lot of frustration creeping in, let's put it that way. And people have been out for a while. They're seeing the public is not really in our corner, obviously. And to me, I think, people just want to get back to work.
Tomorrow will mark 1 full week of 1/3 of the federal public service on strike. Treasury Board President Mona Fortier, leading the negotiations for the federal government, says that they are progressing. But she also sent an open letter to Canadians identifying 4 key sticky issues: wages, working from home, contracting out work, and the consideration of seniority in case the size of the public service is cut. Despite that letter, the Prime Minister is under opposition fire, with every party urging him to figure out how to end the strike.
It cost the Prime Minister $20 billion to cause this strike. How much will it cost him to end it?
On this side of the table, we continue to believe in the power of working at the bargaining table. Public servants provide important services to Canadians, and we value their work.
These are the public sector workers. These are his workers, and the Prime Minister has a responsibility to make sure they have a fair contract.
I'm now a little bit worried about the leader of the NDP, Mr. Speaker, in not understanding that the important job we're doing right now is sitting at the bargaining table where deals get made.
The front bench is here to talk about how this strike is going and what might end it. With me tonight, former Deputy Director of Tax Policy to former Finance Minister Bill Morneau, Elliott Hughes. He's now a Senior Associate with Summa Strategies. Former Conservative Deputy Leader Lisa Raitt. She's Vice Chair and Managing Director of Global Investment Banking at CIBC. CTV News political analyst and former NDP leader Tom Mulcair is with us, as is the Toronto Star's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Rob Benzie. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you tonight. Lisa, I'm going to start with you and lean in on some of your experience as Labour Minister. Just thinking about your time in that capacity, what's your read on what's happening right now?
Yeah, my read on it right now is that the union didn't have as strong a vote in favor of strike as they wanted. And I think that it's showing right now because, as was said in the clip, the public, they may not even know that that PSAC's on strike, or certainly they're not caring very much that they're on strike. And that's a problem because, of course, that takes away the power that a union has in holding up the means of production, which is working for the government. But I'm a little bit more concerned. I'd be concerned if I were the union with this press story that's come out more recently where it says that PSAC employees are actually being paid their salary while they're on strike. Now, I got to tell you, if you want to see Canadians suddenly turn on a dime in terms of how they feel about a strike, let them know that services have stopped and yet everyone's still getting paid. Then you're going to get a reaction. And that's something that has to be managed. And they've got to get back to the table and get a deal quickly. I don't think this looks good for PSAC.
Tom, when we gathered last week, I don't think any of us thought that a week later we would still be talking about the strike going on. What do you attribute to that?
A lot of back and forth over the weekend, some very personal finger-pointing and blaming by the union against Mona Fortier, who appears to be, by all accounts, somebody who's very even-keeled on this stuff. Nobody seems to feel the same way the union does about her and the job that she's doing. I don't think that it hurts Trudeau, Vassy, to be seen to be managing this a little bit more than he usually does. That's not his strong suit, management and administration, but now he's not giving in to the demands of the union, and I think that overall for his image, that's helpful. I also think that Trudeau's got to be very careful because it's clear that the NDP will never vote for back-to-work legislation if ever that became necessary. The Bloc has really dug in its heels and said, no way, there's no possibility for the Bloc leader to walk that back. So that, interestingly enough, would leave the Conservatives in a position where they would have to decide whether they support the government, because everyone will tell you that it's a confidence vote if you have back-to-work legislation. Otherwise, the government's not able to continue. Would the Conservatives push their luck and go for an election and bring down the government, or would they, unthinkably, vote with the Liberals on something this crucial? So that could play as something quite interesting in the days to come. They've also got to be very careful about a hardening of attitudes, because as you start the second week, good luck to the union coming back to the workers and saying, oh, we have a tentative agreement, here's what it is. And if it falls short of what the union said they were striking for, they might be in for a surprise, and the workers might say, no, that's not good enough, go back. So that could actually complicate things even more.
I think that's a really interesting point, Elliott, because both parties have now become very public about their positioning on that wage issue. We know what the four sticking issues are. We know, thanks to that letter, exactly what the government's put on the table. We know exactly what the union wants that's different than what, there's a 4.5% gap there, basically, 4.5%. Do you think that sort of deflates either the union or the government's position, or changes kind of the way this is being perceived?
No, not really. Look, I mean, I think there's a deal to be had here. I mean, I think the reason why the government came out with that letter is because their position is pretty reasonable. Canadians are pretty reasonable. I think they're hoping that Canadians will take a look at that letter and what they're proposing and say, you know what, that seems pretty reasonable. And so you combine that with the fact that perhaps there's not a huge overwhelming amount of support in the public for the union to go forward. You saw in the clip, as Lisa mentioned, you have some members already saying they want to get back to work. I feel as though that's all coming together to look like for the union to get a deal here. The one thing, though, that I think hasn't been talked about, though, is the story behind the story, which is there are a lot more negotiations coming down the pipe. So this negotiation itself is, in a sense, setting the bar, setting the tone for what will likely be future strife and potentially future back and forth between unions and the government. And so you see some unions of those who may be negotiating with the government in the months to come, supporting the PSAC in their efforts now, because they know that they've got to try and hold as firm as possible because they've got some other negotiations coming down later this year. It might fall during an election year. And so in a sense, this negotiation isn't really about this negotiation, it's about the next ones.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's significant, Rob, for the union. It's also that, from that perspective, significant for the government, right? The size of the public service has increased under this government. They point to the pandemic as a big reason for that, but even outside of the pandemic, too. So it's not cheap if you set a 13.5% bar in this negotiation, essentially.
And frankly, Vassy, 9% over 3 years does not sound unreasonable to a lot of Canadians who have not seen raises of that level in the private and public sector. Here in the provincial public sector here in Ontario didn't get those kinds of raises. And I think the union has a few problems here. First of all, only 35% of people actually showed up to vote for the strike vote. So that's a terrible turnout, which tells you there's not a lot of militancy in that union. I don't think I've ever heard of such a low turnout for any major union to head to a strike. And the second thing is that one of the key things about striking, this strike is about being able to work from home, except that PSAC said you have to strike in person. You can't strike from home, which tells you that showing up to work is actually effective whether you're on strike or actually supposed to be in the office. So I think they've got a problem in that front, and I think I'm not sure there's that much public sympathy with them. I mean, I understand the political pressure that Prime Minister Trudeau is under, but to Tom's point, they don't sound that unreasonable, frankly.